All right, here we go. Everybody have pencils? Let me just take attendance real quick. If you haven't done so, take them out. Also, what up, Benito? Also, for everybody, I will record this activity. Record what we do. So just in case, again, there's the agenda. What's going to happen here? Morning, Ollie. We'll get started in about a minute. Again, I apologize. I thought I had everything stapled. So pencils, if you need highlighters, there are some in the back as well. It would be a good idea to get some. Again, here's a summary. Unit 3, Unit 4 test review. That's what we'll definitely get Unit 3 done today. Unit 4, probably start a little bit of it. Finish it next time. vocab projects are due next class. That's the last day of the quarter. And then your mid-year point test, it's a quarter 3 grade. Remember, you can use up to 2 pages of your own notes. That's also a homework grade for quarter 3. Now, with the Unit 3 and the Unit 4 test reviews, I decided I'm going to make them classwork 3rd quarter grades. So you complete the work, it's a 3rd quarter grade. Whereas Unit 1 and 2 reviews, they're 2nd quarter grades. Because given what's going on, not enough time. So I'm going to make these 2 3rd quarter grades, and I'll say it again on Thursday when we meet again. Yes, please. Thank you. So Ms. Ahmed's going to pass out today's test 3 review activity, and then 1 second, I'm going to, we'll get started. That's not for you guys. Okay. And just like before, there are going to be some problems that you will not be required to do. All right, so let's get started. Don't worry about those dates. Okay, first thing we want to talk about, perpendicular bisector. Let's see if I can make this a little bit larger. All right. So one of the first things I told everybody, perpendicular bisector acts like a mirror. Splits your triangle, in this case, into two smaller triangles. So here we go. Boom. Here's your perpendicular bisector right there. Now, the other thing that's important about a perpendicular bisector is when it intersects the line on here, it forms what type of angle? 90-degree right angle. Very good, Noe. So that's the other important part. Now, this is going to be important because here, when we start naming, we start determining our measurements, this is why highlighters are going to be important to have, because you need to figure out names of your angles. And you highlight the letters because the letters tell you the direction where you need to go. Now, I gave you some information at the beginning. For instance, this distance AD. This distance here is 6. I gave you this distance up here, 10. So now that's going to help us when we get everything else. All right, so first plot segment, BC. Where is BC located? Well, BC is located over here. Now, what side does BC mirror? Or what side does it reflect? Look where your mirror is located. AC. Very good. So BC and AC are going to equal each other. Now, do we know what AC is? 10. So if AC is 10, then BC must also be 10. So BC is 10, just like AC. All right, next one. Angle A. Measure of angle A. Well, angle A is located here. Angle B is located here. So angle A and angle B, can we say they mirror each other? So the angle A and angle B are equal to each other. Well, we don't know what angle A is, but we know what angle B is. Angle B is how many degrees? So if angle B is 50, then A is going to be 50 as well. Both are 50 degrees. Now, we know something else. Next one is going to be DV. DV is over here. DV reflects what side? AB. Or AD, rather. Good. Now, do we know what AD measures? So if AD measures 6, then DB must also measure. There we go. All right. Now, next part, BDC. You go from B to D to C. Like this is where a highlighter will come into great use. Well, there's B to D to C. And we said, well, B to D to C has that little symbol. So if we see that symbol, that means how many degrees do we have? That's a 90-degree angle right there. This is going to be a 90 here. That's a right angle right there. If we were asked, so what's that angle? It's both going to be 90 degrees. Now, the last thing. You know, B, C, D. Now, notice the order of the letters is different. We start at the same spot. B, C, D. We started at the same spot. But now we have to go up this way. And then we go down this way. This is going to require a little bit of extra thought here. We have a triangle. 50 degree, a 90 degree. Now we need to figure out what's that other angle on the top. This angle right here. That's what we need to figure out. Now, do we have enough information to get that last angle? We do. Does anybody know what to do to get that last angle measured?
Subtract 50 from 90.
You can do that. You can subtract 90 minus 50. In this case, you can. You can be, since you have a right triangle, if this angle is 90, the other two must also have to add up to 90. Because in the triangle, the sum of all three angles has to be 180. If you're not sure, you can always do it like this. You have a 90, and if this is 50, you can say 90 minus 50. So what is 90 minus 50? 40 degrees. That's your last angle. So that's a 40-degree angle. Get that info off that first slide. Okay. All right, questions on that first slide? All right. Now, the next question. Angle bisector is going to be a similar situation. So similar to a perpendicular bisector, angle bisector is also going to act like a mirror. Angle bisector splits your figure into two congruent angles, also acts like a mirror. Then I gave you some information. This distance right here, AD. It's 5. AD is 70 degrees. These are the first two things you need to, that are given to you. Now, let's talk about this. AD, we said, was 5. DC is the reflection of AD. Notice that DC and AD reflect each other. So if DC, well, reflects AD, but AD equals 5, what must DC also equal? 5 as well. Come on in. Yep. Now, let's talk about a few other things. Again, here's where the highlight is going to come into play. Here's D, here's A, There's B. Given what we just highlighted, how many degrees will DAB, how many degrees will it be? Look what we've highlighted, and look what symbol is a part of that angle we just highlighted. How many? 90, yeah. That's what I'm at it. It's automatically a 90-degree angle. And then guess what? We also know, even though you weren't required to do this, since here's your mirror, this angle's also 70. This angle's also 90. Well, that's going to help us determine the last little bit. And again, here's where the highlighters are going to come into play. Notice how I switched the letters from DAB to ABD. Even though I have the same letters, are these the same angles? Is angle DAB the same as ABD? Are they the same angles? Yeah or no? DAB, ABD, same letters, but are they the same two angles? You're right, they're different angles. Because ABD, here's where ABD is located. You start from A, you go to B, and then you go to D. Now, just focus on the top triangle. You already have a 90-degree angle and a 70-degree angle. So we have 90 plus 70, which is 160. Now with any and all triangles, what's the sum of the measurement of your three angles? Any and all triangles have to add up to how many degrees? 180. And so far we have a 90 and a 70. How much is that? 90 plus 70. Check your calculators. Add them up. 160. So how many more degrees do we need to get 180? 20. That's it. That's a 20-degree angle. But remember, it's 90, 70, 20 degrees. Now, DBC will also be 20. Again, here's your mirror. You know where your mirror is as well. That's going to, basically, the mirror is going to reflect. Now, the last thing I wanted was the angle ABC. Again, this is where the highlight is going to come to play, or the colored pencils. Some of us like colored pencils. That's an option too going forward. Okay, let's have them phones. Start with A, go to B, and you go to C. So if we look at our diagram, we went from A all the way down to C. So basically, it's going to be the sum of these two angles. And the reason why it was important that we knew this was your angle bisector was because, oops, I don't mean to do that. Because in here, if you have 20 degrees here, this angle also has to be 20 degrees. And then ABC, we found out was the sum of these two angles. Why that did it again. So who could tell us? A, B, C. How many total degrees is A, B, C? So how many total degrees is ABC? With 20 on the top, 20 on the bottom. Grand total must be how many degrees? 40. You're just adding them up. Just there, 20 plus 20. That's all you're doing. That's all we gotta do. Just add them up, 20 plus 20. You will see a problem like this. Or at least one of the first two. So, I will post these later today. If we need to copy them down, you'll have an opportunity later today. Remember, the mid-year point test is going to be next week. So, a week from, you guys, a week from tomorrow. 26 is going to be your test. Again, I'll say it one more time. For all the notes and everything, you're allowed up to 2 pages of your own notes, but they have to be your own. Don't photocopy anybody else's. You use your own notes and only your own notes. Okay, again, let's put away those phones. Next time I see somebody playing with a phone, it's a class warning. Anybody after that, security's coming, they're going to take both people's phones away. You don't want to be that one that starts on that class warning. All right, questions on this problem here? Okay, next couple problems, I will tell you which ones are going to be X'd off. All right. All right, next couple. So on the next page, problem 3A and 3B, the mid-segment. Don't worry about them. Just put an X. Put an X on them next couple problems. So I'm telling you that right now. Put an X. Three B. We don't need that for now. 3B, same thing. So 3A, 3B, put an X on them. You're not going to be required to worry about mid-segment. I'm not going to give that to you on a test. And then there are a few others that you're not going to need to do. Again, here's where part of the grade is going to come in for these activities. If I tell you to put an X on something, you X it out, that means you were following my directions. That's what this means. And I think the following page, I think the top one, this is mid-segment, X that out as well. X those problems because we're not going to be doing them. Not on the midterm, maybe on the final. But when we get to the final, we'll talk more about that. That's not for at least another 4 months. Okay. Now the problem on the bottom of this upcoming page, this one you will need to do. This one is going to be required. But this one's not so bad because the best way to get these types of problems is the following. You set up a table. Yeah. Go ahead. You can do that. But then, even after the connect?
No idea, died.
Okay. All right. So what's going to happen is the following. You're going to set up a chart. Got a pencil? Anytime you have shortest, medium, longest side, here's what you do. You measure. In this case, what did they give us? Did they give us side measures or angle measures? Look on the top. They give us side or angle measures. Look on the top. We got sides or angles. Top row here. They gave us angle measures. You go measure, name, and then basically, since this was angle name, and then opposite side. This is going to be easy. Here's why. All right, what are the three numbers? We're going to go from least or smallest to greatest or largest on the bottom. So what three numbers do we have here? Who can tell us what three numbers? Look on the top row. Okay, so is 85 the smallest, the medium, or the largest? Okay, so we're going to put 85 on the bottom. Okay, what's the next number? Now, is that 65? Is that going to be the smallest or the one in the middle? Middle. Then, of course, the shortest or the smallest is 30. Now, given those were the angle measures, we're going to look at our angle names. So for the 30-degree angle, what letter was the 30-degree angle? O. Since 30 degrees was angle O, well, what two other letters of the triangle did we not yet use? So we use O, P and Q. P and Q is going to be your opposite side. P and Q is going to be the opposite side. So anytime, write down the three letters of your triangle. You're given an angle. Look at what angle you're given. The two other letters give you the opposite side. That's the name of the game there. Okay. What about angle P, or 65-degree angle? Which letter? Is that P or Q? The 65-degree angle. Look at that diagram. Angle Q is what? 65. So, if Q is 65, then what are the opposite sides? What two letters give us the opposite side?
P and O.
P and O. P, O, O, P, don't matter. Because you use Q, bang, there's your other two letters. So then what's our last letter? Largest angle was how many degrees?
65.
There you go. So that was angle P. So that means, what's our opposite side?
O and Q.
OQ. And then from there, we can figure out shortest side. What's our shortest side? Look at your smallest angle. So the smallest angle is 30. That was angle O. What's your opposite side? Look right up here. This is your smallest. 30 degrees is your smallest angle, and that's angle O. Your two other letters give you your shortest side. That's how you're going to get it. Yeah. I promise. You will get this question. Or it's opposite. Where I give you the side, you give me the angle. You're going to get one of these two. And then the longest side. Here you go. Smallest, largest. Okay, set up your chart if you're giving me such a problem. So I'll give you the shortest or longest side of a triangle, shortest or longest side of an angle, or smallest, largest angle. Set up your chart. It's going to help you set up whatever. It's small, go from smallest to largest, and then whatever your smallest angle is, the other two letters are your smallest side, or vice versa. Whatever your shortest side is, opposite angle is going to be the smallest angle. Okay, questions before we continue? Because the next problem is going to be just like this problem. Make plans on setting up a chart. Again, for anybody who just arrived Remember, next class is the last class of the quarter. And we're going to talk about so we're going to do this packet today, but this is going to be a third quarter grade, because I noticed there were quite a few people out. But the Unit 1 and the Unit 2 packets are second quarter grades. So complete this. This is your first third quarter grade. Yeah, this is a third quarter grade. And the Unit 4 as well, because I'm going to tell you what you're going to be doing later today. Units 1 and 2. If you did Units 1 and 2, those are Unit 2 grade. Huh? I know you finished 1 and 2, so you're good with those. And then also, don't forget, project, do next class. And if you need to complete any add-on activities from your tests, they better get done. You better get that project done. You're running out of time. All right. Questions on this problem here? The next problem you're going to set up a similar chart. But it's going to be something else you're dealing with. Smallest and largest angle of a triangle. So what you're going to do is the following. So measure. That's the side. Name. Side. And then opposite angle. Okay, so here we go. Again, go from smallest or shortest, medium, largest or longest. So now let's look at our numbers first. What three numbers do we see? What three numbers? That's the first thing you need to list. What three numbers do we see? 4, 7, 8 right away. The numbers that you see, list them from smallest to largest. That's step number 1. Step number 2, you need to do the following. Might help. You might want to write down the name of your triangle. So now, what we need to do is the following. First, let's list our sides. So, or I should say next. So the number 4. What 2 letters make up that side that's 4 units long? What 2 letters make up that side? See what the number 4 is? The number 4 is between what 2 letters? See where 4 is? What 2 letters are between the number 4?
A and B.
A and B. Okay. So if AB is that side, C is the opposite angle. There you go. Because you got your first 2 letters. The letter that you didn't list, you put it right there. Here's your last letter. And there's your smallest angle. Because the shortest side is the opposite of the smallest angle. Boom, there you go. You know what? I should just write S, N, or L. Okay, now number 7. The number 7 is between what 2 letters? Look at your paper, look on the screen. What 2 letters?
AC.
AC, there you go. So if you have A and C, that means what's your opposite angle?
B.
Yeah. Boom, boom, cross it out. That's who's left. And then of course the last one, BC, that means the opposite angle. What letter did we not write here? There you go. And then of course your largest angle has to be letter
C.
A.
Oh, yeah, no.
Small angle C is going to be your smallest. That's why. Set up the chart. Smallest to largest. And then once you figure out the names of each side, whatever letter you did not write here, you write over there. That's how you set it up. Questions? Questions of what we have going on right now? Before we go to the next page. Anybody have any questions? And actually, the slide that's on the bottom here, you can cross out that slide that's on the bottom of this page, this particular page. Cross it out. Yeah, number 7. Yeah, that one you can cross out. You're not gonna have to do it. You're not gonna be responsible on the midterm. You might see that on the final though. So if you want to write finals question, that might be something you will see on a final. So we'll talk about those down the road. Okay, questions before we move on? And remember, you kind of did a lot of this already. This unit review you did in the past because you were allowed to use it on the Unit 3 test. So a lot of you, we're just hitting it again, but there's specific parts that we're not going to do because I'm not going to have you do for the test, the midpoint test.
They'll have to give you this so you could bring it. You're talking about this.
I marked it. I know you did it already. So I just have to update in the book, which I'm going to do later today. All right, here we go, next page. But no, I know you're done. So, number 8, don't worry about that one either. Cross that one out, but you might see that on a final. The vocab one we're going to talk about. And out of the 5, there's only 3 that you're really worried about. I will show you. Out of these 5, the closest thing you might deal with is a matching. Because remember, we're going to be dealing with vocab, and I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of this stuff we're going to see again and again between now and the end of the year. So for instance, this first one right here, in this segment, that's the only time you might have to worry about the mid segment. It's in a vocab question. You just have to know where it is. The next couple are going to be tricky. They can be confusing because they're both similar. But they're going to be a little different in the end. And I'll tell you why. Perpendicular bisector. The reason why this one right here is the perpendicular bisector is because it forms that right angle. That's the difference between this one and this next one. This next one may not necessarily form the right angle. Because with the angle bisector, the better diagram would have been something that looked more like this. That would have been more angle bisector. Whereas here, the perpendicular, that line, when it went to the opposite side, formed a right angle. That's the big difference between the two. But they both act like mirrors. With this, when the angle bisector splits a line, and then these two angles are going to be congruent. And you will see something like that down the road. I know with like when we deal with measurements of angles and like some of your various shapes. You're going to be dealing with that. Also, then the last two, median and altitude. Median, just split your segment. But remember, that's your midpoint. You can say there's your midpoint. And then the altitude, I don't know, who's ever been like out west? Whenever you see signs such as like elevation or altitude, like I know Denver, they say it's a mile high city. They say the altitude or the elevation is 5,280 feet or something like that. And that's what you have going. That's what the altitude, it just measures up to the top, tip of the iceberg, tip of the mountain. But out of these 5, the 3 that you need to worry about the most are going to be these 3 right here. 2 types of bisectors in your mid-segment. Those are the 3 out of the 5 I'd worry about the most. Other 2 are good to know between now and the end of the year, but definitely top 3. Especially know the difference between perpendicular and angle bisector. Let's give everybody a quick moment, look it over, and then we'll continue. I'm just going to update attendance one more time. All right. All right, now, for the next couple problems, we're going to be dealing with angles, angle measures, and angle rules. So we're going to kind of go back a little to what we were doing with the unit number 2. But now, some of these rules are going to come into effect, especially when dealing with angle bisector, perpendicular bisector, along with your parallel lines and your consecutive interior angles. I will show you. Well, this first one in particular. This one. What we have going on here. I will let you know that you have parallel lines. Now, anytime you have a problem like this, you have the two parallel lines. These two angles right here that are between the two parallel lines are going to add up to 180. That's always going to be the case. These same side interior angles sum up to 180. We'll set it up. Do definitely start this type of problem. That's the first thing I would do. Now, here's what I want you to do. What I want you to do is the following. You suffer X. Always box your X terms, so, because that's going to help you determine whether or not you're moving terms or you're grouping them, because if they're on the same side, are we moving or grouping? So that's your question. So notice how your X terms are on the same side of the equal sign. Are we moving anything or are we grouping them together? Yeah, you're going to group them together. So think about it like this. You have $3 in your right pocket, $8 in your left pocket. How many total dollars do you have? You have 3 in one hand, 8 in another. How many do you have in total? 11. So same thing with the X's. Now, the 17 and the negative 46, watch your signs. They're on the same side. So you just combine it. But remember, they're opposite signs. So are we adding or subtracting the two numbers? If you need a calculator, let me know. I'll get you one. So what's a positive 17 and a negative 46 going to give us all together? Close. It's going to be negative something. It's going to be negative something. Negative. Try it again. 17. Or you just type in 17 minus 46. What do we get? 29. In this case, it's it. It's going to be negative 29. 11 minus 29 equals 180. Now, how do we solve for, I'll let you try to solve for x. I'll give you a minute to solve for the x.
You know she took her piercing, and she made me do it again.
What piercing?
She made me do it again. I saw my cousin doing it. I saw my cousin. Yeah, I don't really do it so much in my face because then you get bored of it and you want to take them out. You know, have them on.
All right. Did anybody find the value of x? All right, Joey's saying it's 19. Agree or disagree with Joey? Fernando, Transito, both agree. Araceli also agrees. So does Norcas. All right. Again, introduce the following. Now, this negative 29, that's the term we need to move to the opposite side of the equal sign because you can't combine the 11x and a minus 29. That can't happen. Because there's no x here. Since 180 doesn't have an x, the negative 29 has to move. That's why we add the 29 to both sides. So 180 plus 29. And again, you have calculators. You are more than welcome to use them. Add them up. What do we get? 180 plus 29 gives us a grand total of 209. Now, last step. So how do we get the x? So last step here, ladies and gentlemen. Divide both numbers by. We divide both sides by 11. 11. 11. So 11x divided by 11 is x, and then 209 divided by 11 gives us a grand total of 19. Good. So x is going to be 19. You will definitely see a problem like this. You will see a problem like this one. I almost guarantee it. Because it's similar to, remember the problems that we had earlier? I think it was last time. That's, and you were told, find the measure of these two angles. It's just like one of those types of problems. You will see that again, I promise. Okay. Questions on this problem? Okay. We'll see this on the test. And I promise, if you don't know how to do a problem like this, I guarantee you, you're going to get probably at least 2 questions wrong. If you understand what to do for a problem like this, you're gonna get 2 questions right. If you don't, automatic, you're gonna lose several points on your point test. All right, questions before we continue. All right. Now for the next 2. General rule. Remember you got a triangle. The general rule was the following. I'm just going to put it right here. Anytime you had these 2 isosceles sides, their opposite angles would also be congruent. So that's what we have going on here. So whatever. So for instance, we'll look at this problem together. You'll get it why. You'll understand why. It's an isosceles triangle, and your 2 sides that are congruent. Whatever 2 sides are congruent, the 2 opposite angles must also be congruent. That's basically what we have going on here. Opposite angles of congruent sides are congruent. That's your congruent symbol. So since these 2 sides are congruent, these 2 angles will also be congruent. So if this angle is 26 degrees, this angle over here must also be how many degrees? How many degrees will this angle over here be? Also going to be 26. Since we have a problem like that, well, now you have 2 of your angles. Can we get the final angle measurement? You can, because what was the sum of the 2 26s plus this x? What must they all add up to equal? What number? 26 and 26 and an x. Add them up. They all have to equal how many degrees? What's your grand total?
52.
Well, 26 and 26 is 52.
180.
52 plus what?
180.
Has to add up to 180. Now, can we get that last angle? Can you get that last angle? Yeah. What do we have to do with the 180 and the 52? Minus them. So what would be 180 minus 52? It's our exit. 128. X is going to be 128. That's your final result. Okay, questions? All right. Now, this idea you're going to apply to this problem over here. Where's your agenda? That's not good. Take that die, you're back. Whatever you missed, Get from a neighbor. Hurry up. Okay, this one. Similar idea. Here's your opposite side. Here's your boom. There's your isosceles triangle, your two sides. These two are congruent. So that means these two angles are going to be congruent. So they labeled this angle as a B. Therefore, how should we label this bottom angle? Are we going to label it 28 or B? Why? Okay, that's right. This is opposite. They're congruent. This one also has to be congruent. So that angle you're going to label as a B as well. Now, we have enough information to solve for angle B. Because what do we know about the sum of the three angles? B plus B plus 28 adds up to 180. B plus 28 equals 180. Now, similar to a couple problems ago, notice how the two B's were on the same side of equal sign. So if I have one B in one hand and another B in my other hand, how many total B's do we have? How many? Two B's. So B plus B is 2B. And then you add your 28, it's 180. Now, do we have enough information to solve for B? And we solve for B at this point. Yeah. I want you all to try to solve for B. So there you go. Again, we can practice our two-step equations. Okay. All right. So remember, to solve for B, two steps. I'll give you all about another minute. Okay. Okay, did anybody get a value of B? Remember, anybody? I got a value of B. Anybody? 76. Okay. In the end, there are going to be problems we need to know how to do. So get minus 28 on both sides. you're left with 2b equals 152, and then divide both sides by 2, and then, boom, you're done. B is 76 degrees. Again, two separate equations. Sometimes they might be combined like terms, then two separate equations. That's what you need. These are going to be problems you will see quite a bit. If you're struggling, you need to tell me. All right, questions before we go to the last page? All right, on the last page. Okay, just like before. You have congruent sides. You have congruent sides. Opposite angles are congruent. So what do we know about the relationship of these two angles? They are, yeah, they're congruent. R and T are going to be congruent. Their measures are going to be the same. So that means you do the following. You set their expressions. 15x minus 31 to equal 9x plus 11. X's are on opposite sides, so that means one of these two terms has to move. Who could tell us? Which term is moving? 9. Opposite of positive 9x is? What's the opposite of plus 9x? Minus 9x. You have to do it on both sides of the equal sign. So what's 15 minus 9? 15x minus 9x. Well, what's 15 minus 9? Actually, you know what? Do it on your own. Try the rest on your own. So I gave you your first step. Do the rest on your own. Once you get your value of x, then you're going to plug this value of x into that expression. Oh, that's a plus 11. And then you'll get, once you get your x, plug it in, solve. Yeah. I have to look. I can find out in about 2 seconds. I remember. Okay. One. You still have? Do you have the unit one? Well, show it to me before we go. I'll mark it. All right. Keep going. Keep going on this problem. If you have, all right. Anybody get a value of x? Okay. I'm hearing x is 7. Agree or disagree with a 7? All right. In the end, what happened was you had 6x minus 31 equals 11. Add 31 to both sides. 6x is 42. And then divide by 6. X is 7. All right. Once you get the x equals 7, plug it in. Then we get an angle measure for angle T. Anybody get an angle measure for angle T? 74. 9 times 7, 63. Plus 11 is 74. So angle T is going to be 74 degrees. Measure angle T, 74. Okay, questions on that problem? Now the last problem is going to be similar, but a little different. Because the last problem, just like this problem, you have to set the two expressions equal to each other. If you haven't done so, that's step number 1. You're going to do that right away. Okay, am I ready to go down to the last slide? Okay, so I'm going down right now. Oopsie. All right. For this last one, I'm going to zoom out just a tad. Boom.
Do we have to put the star in there?
The reason why, because it's going to relate to this part right here, Cindy. So that's the only reason why that's why I started. I just wanted everybody to see where we're going to get this value. So that's the reason. I would start it because a lot of us, when we took the Unit 3 test, got this particular question wrong. Here's what happened. A lot of us, well, first off, a lot of you got this part right. You set the two expressions equal to each other. So that's going to be your first step. You said 2x minus 1 equal to x plus 4. Anybody get a value of x? Everybody find the value of x. Now this one's going to be real quick. Here's your x's. Obviously, which x are we moving? The one on the left or the one on the right? Then, of course, in the end, so we have an x equals 5. Now, the other part is where a lot of us made mistakes. A lot of us knew you got a 55 here. A lot of us got this part right. 55 over here. Because since these two sides were congruent, their opposite angles were congruent. So a lot of you got that part right as well. But here's where a lot of us got this part wrong. Some of you got it right, but some of you got it dead wrong. Because you thought, oh, add them up. What's 55 plus 55? Anybody know what 55 plus 55 is? 110. Okay. A lot of you were putting 110 here. No. The big mistake was you needed to subtract 180 minus 110. A lot of us were not doing that. You all just thought, oh, 180 minus 110. It's just 110. No. You got to take that number away from 180. So 180 minus 110, which gives us how many degrees? What's 180 minus 110? 70. 70 degrees is your final result. This top angle was 70 degrees. Angle W was 70. Not 110. A lot of us did not subtract the sum of these two angles from 180. That's what happened on the test. Okay, anybody have any questions on that problem, on that last one? So what we're going to do, just for a few minutes, I just want us to start talking about the Unit 4 stuff. So with the Unit 4 stuff, what we're going to do, so with the Unit 4 stuff, here's what's going to happen. We're going to talk about a couple slides real quick before we leave. You can start it on Thursday. We're going to review it, and I'm also going to put a recording up. Okay. So with Unit 4, and remember, a lot of you already have done this. So here's the deal: if you have your Unit 4 test study guide, a lot of you already did this. This is going to be more recent, so if you already have it, your life will be a whole lot easier. I think somebody said they had it. Quite a few of you already did this.
Is it this?
It is that. Yeah. Now, there's going to be a couple ones I'm going to take right away. Don't worry about it. So, if some of you already have it, if you already have it, guess what? You don't need a second copy. We're just going to talk about 5 pointers. Or, what you could also do, there may be some that you don't have to worry about on your test. But if you already have it, you don't need the extra copy. If you don't have it, take it. If you do have it, yep. Some of you already have it. So if you already have it,
But I'm missing like this.
okay, here's what we're going to do. All right, in fact, that's going to be enough time. I'll talk about those first few real quick. All right, really quick, just a couple of them. A lot of them are the rules. So yeah, some of you might already have it. Yeah, okay, so yeah, he already has it. So for these types, you might see a problem where you're going to have to match. So we'll just do a quick matching activity. Basically, you do the following. All right, couple minutes real quick. I'm going to just point. Obtuse, anything over 9. That's the key. Q, all under 9.
I know.
Right angle, there you go. Equiangular, boom. Now I'll give you that first part. Now, here's what I will tell everybody since we're almost out of time. And then I'll go to the next page. I'll show you a couple more slides. 2 important things. Thing number 1. If you already have completed this, just bring it back next time. Look it over, fine tune it. Look over anything that's missing, and then you'll get credit. But don't lose it. Then the other part I want to talk about Now remember, the types of triangles, and then we'll talk about the rest next time. Types of triangles, remember, scalene, all are different, all different. Isosceles, two are the same. And then equilateral, all three, same. So you already have, so if you don't have it, you might want to write this down. I know some of you were missing. But if you already have this, you don't need to worry about it again. Just bring it back on Thursday. Because what we're going to do on Thursday is going to be a mix of a lot of things. So sit tight before you go. I need everybody to sit tight. Thursday, what you need to do, you haven't already finished this study guide. Listen up. Finish it. I will put a recording up probably later today. Try to finish it by Thursday if it's not already done. If it's finished, just bring it back to me. That's the two and the. Let me start again. Unit 3, Unit 4 are going to be third quarter grades. So the one you did today, Unit 4, third quarter grade. They're going to be third quarter classwork grades. Thursday is also going to be your day to catch up and get anything and everything done. So if you have to make up a test, if you have to do your add-on activities, Thursday will be the last chance to get things done because quarter ends on Thursday and the periods will not be 100 total like your full 85, 90 minutes. So beware of what's going on. So at this point, class is just about done.